Welcome, dear Thriver, to Thriver TV, the first Thriver TV episode from Alina Starbus, my new motorhome. No fixed address, so exciting. So anyway, I want to talk to you today about why a narcissist will always discard you. So either literally or figuratively, but usually it will get down to being literally. I would like to remind you, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do hit the notification bell. Okay, so narcissists, when they discard you, it's not just a simple, all right, well, we're finished and it's over. First of all, it can be incredibly cruel and callous. The discard can come out of nowhere, and really shockingly, it's often after a time that feels really smooth and really connected and quite healthy and stable. And it's kind of like the Jaws music where you hear the do-do-do-do-do-do in the background, and I've got the ocean behind me. I don't think there's any Jaws out there, but it's really about that uneasy feeling that something is about to spring up and the other shoe is going to drop. Because this is what narcissists do. They don't like getting too close and connected and too healthy because they've always got to sabotage it. And it's a push me, pull me. So devalue, discard is a big part of that, but it's also very, very serious, because in a narcissistic discard, you will be thrown under the bus. You will feel like you don't matter. The relationship never mattered. The narcissist may even tell you that they don't love you. They may tell you they're going to replace you. They'll tell you it's all finished with. And because words have meaning, you can actually really believe that you're discarded, and it feels like it. And there may be no recourse for you, and it's what it is. So you either have to pick yourself up and deal with it and take yourself away because it's so damaging and painful and invalidating, or you're going to try to hang on to the narcissist and they may just keep pushing you away. Now, that's not often the end of it, because what can happen after a discard and a separation is you'll reunite with the narcissist, and often that is because they will hoover you back in. And they may hoover you back in because you accept the discard and you think, all right, well, I really do have to get on with it, and I need to heal, and I need to move on with my life, or I've got no other option. And the narcissist, because of that ego injury of you don't care, you're not crawling after me, or maybe they're trying to work out new supply and that didn't quite work out, so they might come back in for a hoover. Now, in that hoover, you may hear the words that make you believe that things are going to get better and that you have resolution, that the narcissist is atoning, can amend, and is actually going to take responsibility for their behavior. Now, it's very important to really know words mean nothing without action, and character is based on action and real life application, not just words. So with the narcissist, they will say the words, but if you lay the boundaries about you need just more than a simple apology, which may be half-hearted, it mightn't even be genuine, and you need proof, and you need time, and you need to heal, you will see the narcissist will usually snap and discard you again, because they don't have the fortitude, the resources, the capacity, or the desire to really take responsibility for what they did. They're just telling you what you need to hear, they think, for you to reunite and come back together and go through the same cycles over and over and over again. And like so many of us, I went through those cycles of abuse, which don't have to be about physical abuse. A cycle of abuse works like this, where you have a reuniting, you have tension, you have the event, you have a separation, then you reunite, then you have tension, the event, you separate, you reunite, and over and over and over again. And what really plagues narcissistic relationships is that the cycles get faster, they get more intense, things are never resolved, and the cracks just get worse and worse and worse and worse, and you're in a toxic relationship with no harmony, resolution, and no healing. Healthy relationships have healing. They have communication, they have togetherness, they have understanding, and they spiral upwards instead of downwards. So the discard phase is so exhausting, it's horrifying, it's abusive, and you get sicker and sicker and sicker in those cycles of violence, because that's what you are in a toxic relationship with a narcissist. Okay, narcissists will always eventually, sooner or later, discard you. The reason is because they start off relationships and idolize, which is a fantasy of you are something special, something unique that feeds my false self and gives me narcissistic supply. So it gives me notoriety, it gives me acclaim, it gives me a buzz. It's like a drug. So at the start of a relationship with a narcissist, you are the best thing since poached eggs. You are something that they have idolized in their brain, like a bright new shiny toy that they're so excited about that they get a huge dopamine hit of narcissistic supply from you. Now, this is not about seeing you as a blood and bone autonomous human being who has a soul and feelings that they want to connect to. And that's not what the love is about. This is about obsession. This is based on idolization, pedestals, which are incredibly unhealthy. So what happens is you're on the pedestal, they're getting a huge dopamine hit of narcissistic supply. You get shown off to all and sundry. They're talking about you. They're introducing you to people in their life way too fast. And it's a big deal to them. But it's based on a fantasy life, a false self, a false life, a false idolization. Because that's not how relationships go. Relationships are about relating to people in everyday life and in a relatable way. So people aren't perfect. They're going to fall off the pedestal. Absolutely, with the narcissist. They're going to step on your toes. You're going to say ouch, because that's what they do. It's what every normal person will do. And the narcissist suffering a narcissistic injury will devalue and discard you. Because how dare you threaten the false self-narrative of I am superior and I'm above reproach and I am not to be challenged. My narrative of myself has to be that I am a certain way, and if anybody tries to crack that narrative, I will attack the person that threatens my false self. So you are going to get devalued and discarded. It's impossible for you not to. And also too, the narcissist has never accepted their true self. They self-divorced it, they threw it into the corner, and they put a false self-narrative in charge, which is an idolized version of how I would like to be and how I want to be and how I need to be seen in order for me to escape the truth about myself, which is I feel insecure, damaged, and insufficient and inadequate of getting my share of the good stuff. I have to pretend I'm somebody I'm not. So do not threaten that narrative. So of course you're going to get discarded. So it doesn't matter how many times you twist yourself into a pretzel, into a shape that you think is going to keep this person happy. You're going to walk on broken glass constantly. You're going to want to not open your mouth. You're going to open your mouth the right way. You're going to have to look a certain way at them and not look a certain way at them. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You're too lazy, you're too hardworking, you're too hardworking, you're too lazy, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too this, you're too that. Because the narcissist has never accepted their true self, how can they accept another blood and bone autonomous human being? And every time that they get a narcissistic trigger, which is their insecure, broken, damaged inner self bubbling up to the surface, not getting enough narcissistic supply to self-medicate and numb it down, they're going to look at their nearest and dearest to blame for the way they feel. And that'll be you. And that's exactly what happens. So, with a narcissist, you're always going to be discarded. You're going to go through the cycles of violence until eventually there is nothing more to mine and exploit from you. So you will be fully discarded and replaced with new supply. Or eventually you're going to crawl away, shaken, broken, hardly alive, knowing that the fear of staying gets bigger than the fear of leaving. And you have no other choice to save your soul. Which is where so many of us thrivers came into this community, and it's where I was as well. Now, as horrible as all of this is, there is a huge truth. We are always hanging on to people and not letting go because we're trying to get something from them that we're not granting to ourselves. There's 4 pillars of your foundational humanness: love, approval, security, and survival. And when we let go of a false source, a false self, a false God that we've been trying to get these from, who has been playing with us like a cat does with a mouse, when we let go, as painful and trauma bonded and as horrifying and as much money, investment, time and love and energy we've invested that we have to walk away from, then that is the start of your true self and your true life, because finally we come home to true source. To be able to make source our source, which is our higher self, which is the light, which is consciousness, God, your higher power, your higher self, true life force, which is the higher part of you. And when we come home and do the inner work and we reconnect back to that true source, then we finally have come home. And narcissists really put us through this trauma of idolize, which is pretty short-lived, because then you're going to go into the devalues, the discards, and hoovering, which is ingenuine. Okay? And those cycles get more and more about devalue and discard and less about hoovering and idealization until we have to save ourselves. But the hugest journey of evolution, graduation, and true thriving comes from that. Because we get to heal up and seal up all of those parts of us that were dependent, were handing our power away, that did have energy leaks, that made other people our source instead of true source. I hope that this resonates with you today. And I want you to know that there really are true solutions, which is so wonderful about our Thriver community, to get you out of those pits of hell that are horrible. To come home to the truth of what you were born to be and live. Check out the link that goes with this video. I want you to know there's more than hope for this. All right. Okay, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I know you can heal, and until the next one, keep smiling, keep healing, it's everything, so that you can thrive, because there is nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.